Rumors are that allegedly Nene is one step closer to returning to Real Housewives of Atlanta. Can she make it back? Or is the door officially and still closed? I have some new information that may answer all of those questions and more right after this. What's up, Kenfolk, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, do me a favor and subscribe. And if you already are subscribed, do me a favor and get notified, so you'll know whenever I upload new videos to the channel. Alright, Kenfolk, come on into the house. We have a lot to talk about, and it centers around rumors that allegedly Nene may be one step closer to returning to the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise. Can she make it all the way? Or is the door still officially closed? I have some new information that may answer all of those questions and more. And here it goes. Rumors are that allegedly Bravo is ready to bring former Real Housewives of Atlanta star neneleakes back to the franchise. The source said that allegedly the network is over the low ratings for Real Housewives of Atlanta and are ready to cut Nene a deal to return. This, said the source, is a complete 180 from the network allegedly closing the door on Nene ever returning to the show. The source continued, ideally, the network would prefer to be done with Nene altogether, but unfortunately that doesn't seem like a viable option at the moment, ended the source. Another source said, allegedly, there have only been unofficial talks among some producers whether to bring Nene back or not. Most of the show producers allegedly are against the idea. However, Nene's recent interview with Carlos King did open their eyes to some valid points. Some of these points have been made by fans for the last 2 seasons. So the question is Nene on her way back to Real Housewives of Atlanta? Well, an industry insider said, unfortunately, the door to Nene ever returning to the Real Housewives of Atlanta is still firmly closed. The insider continued, Nene's time at Bravo is over. She has burned too many bridges with the right people. Yes, there are some producers who still love her and wouldn't mind working with her, but there are also a lot of people who feel the opposite way. Nene is great for TV, just not great for Bravo, ended the source. Behind the scenes, Nene's interview with Carlos was seen as a valid attempt at Nene trying to get her peach back. The source continued, she was like a lawyer in a courtroom trying to convince the jurors of Bravo as to why she needed to return. All of her points were loud and clear. Some good, some on topic, while others were over the top, did not hit the mark, overly dramatized, and predictable. Bravo allegedly knew exactly why Nene did this interview and closed all of their ears to some of her points. Now, said the source, Nene is allegedly left still strategizing with her team on how she can make her grand return. The platforms are there for her to continue to tell her story, but with the network not being receptive to the idea, she may be doing all of this for nothing. Nene's best option, continued the source, is to try and gear up as much support from her fans in order for them to pressure Andy and the network to allow Nene back. Can it work? Probably not, said the source, but it's worth a try and one of her few options. Now, Kenfolk, that was some new information regarding Nene's big interview and alleged plan to return to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And so we're just going to hop right into it and try to dissect some of this information. First off, I am not surprised by the reaction from Nene's interview from a lot of people because of this reason. I think it was very clear that Nene was trying or is trying to return to Real Housewives of Atlanta. Everything she said, the way she said it, and how political she was about it, really made it seem as if Nene is saying, hey, I want to return. I slick know it was my fault, but here are the reasons why I should return. Here are the reasons why some of these people should not be returning and why you should keep some of these people. And that way we can create that magic that we once had. It was very telling that Nene kept referring back to the previous seasons when she was on. And even more obvious and not so surprising that she always referenced the seasons where it was her, Candy, Kenya, Portia, and Cynthia, and Marlo, because those were the seasons where Bravo saw their highest ratings. So it was almost as if that she may have or was trying to put a bug in producers' ears and trying to drop little breadcrumbs with the network and letting them know, hey, the ratings haven't been so good this season, but if you only bring me back with these other housewives, then we can recapture that magic. And so with that being said, I think Nene was very smart in trying to rekindle those thoughts and those sentiments from when Real Housewives of Atlanta was seeing 2 million, 3 million plus people a week. So with that being said, I can definitely see how, this interview was seen as a clear attempt for Nene trying to return to Real Housewives of Atlanta. Can it work? Well, Kenfolk, I actually think that it could work, or at least it's a smart enough plan because of this reason. Now, my source is convinced that Nene's time at Bravo is over with, and that the network is not interested in bringing her back, allegedly, and that her time is over, especially when it comes to making an appearance or being a peach holder on Real Housewives of Atlanta. But Kenfolk, I will say this though. I think Nene's strategy for returning is better than her last strategy, and it should have been her first strategy instead of her trying to sue the network and putting fear in them and with a lawsuit in order to get her peach back. I think Bravo didn't take kindly to her trying to strong arm them into her getting her spot back. Now, the reason why I think this strategy is better, and if any strategy was to work, I think it is this one, even though some people think it won't work. But to me, it feels as if Nene and her timing is right, and her talking points are right as well. Here's the thing. First, Nene dropped this interview right after they filmed the reunion, which was smart because we know that right after the reunion, producers allegedly look at the footage and see who's bringing it, who's not bringing it, who needs to go, who needs to stay. So Nene really inserted herself into that conversation by dropping these interviews after the reunion. Very smart. So now I feel like that Nene and her team understand the formula that they need in order to get the producers and the network's attention. And so by doing this interview and pointing out all of these key parts and these key facts onto why she is good for television, good for the franchise, and ultimately good for Bravo, can put her into play in those talks on to who we're going to bring back to the franchise. Because allegedly, my sources are saying that production is very open to bringing back more OGs for next season. Now, Kenfolk, the next part of this information and this rumor that I thought really played in Nene's favor is this. My sources have been telling me for the past couple of months that the network and producers are very open to bringing back more OGs and more veteran housewives. And with that being said, Nene made so many good points as to why those OGs and those veteran housewives made such great television. And so in doing that, she was almost trying to, I think subconsciously or consciously, give production like their talking points to go to the network, and giving them their talking points in order to convince the network to allow Nene back. Because the numbers are there. The proof is in the pudding that when Nene was on with the right cast, the franchise soared. And it did so on a continuous basis. So with that being said, I think that with Nene making a lot of good points and how she was able to maneuver around those points and weave those points into her plea to return, I think it was very good marketing and very good strategy. Now, Kenfolk, there is a part of this rumor that I think that, no matter how good of a strategy Nene has, no matter how good the points that she's making are, there is still one caveat to her plan or her alleged plan and strategy to return to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And this component is a very important component because I think this is the ultimate reason why she is doing all of this. And without this component, I'm not saying her plan can't work. It will be a little more hard for it to work in its full entirety. And it's this. When Nene's interview with Carlos King dropped, I was going through the comment section, and for every fan that was commenting how much they miss Nene, how much they wanted Nene back, there were about 2 or more other fans who were saying they didn't want Nene back. They felt like the reason why Nene was fired was not because of discrimination, was not some nefarious plan to take away her bag, but it was because of Nene's ego and how after she got Glee and her new normal gig, how she started to change and how she started to feel like she was better than the ladies, and how she herself even fell back from filming with the ladies and wasn't giving so much for the cameras. Now, all those points to me, I think made sense. But as I was reading those comments and listening to different bloggers and different YouTubers talk and seeing the comment section of their videos, I think it's pretty obvious that right now the fans who want Nene back are in the minority. And that's not good, because if you are to believe this rumor that Nene is trying to strategize allegedly to gear up fan frustration and fan anger to catapult her back to the franchise, you're going to need the majority. You're not going to need a minority. You're going to need the majority of people making a lot of noise for you to return. So much noise that Andy and the network cannot ignore it. And right now, Nene has not hit that threshold. Now, I'm still not saying her plan can't work. She could very well gang up a lot of support from the majority of the ladies, which my sources are saying right now is not even half of them who want her back. But what I am saying though is, if she can somehow manage to get more than half, then yes. But it's just not going to happen with the minority of your fans saying, or the majority of the fans saying that they want you back is in the minority. She's going to need a lot of more strong numbers if she wants to make her case heard loudly and clear. Now, Kenfolk, this is all new information and alleged information that's coming from behind the scenes. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that Nene has valid points so valid enough that she should be brought back? Or do you think it's just a lost cause and her time at Bravo is unfortunately over because of all the bridges she burned? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Alright, Kenfolk, as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys over on the next one. Peace.